Welcome to Mindboost Moments, a podcast for those who want to hear from like-minded people and how they're making a dent in the world. So join me on my continued journey of learning and discovery. This week I had a great chat with Hayat El Hamri, Learning and Development Manager at Nestle Health Science. She has a passion for healthy living and supporting people understand how they can improve their health in a natural way. We had a great chat about longevity and the possibility of personalised health plans and supplements to support a longer life. We also delve into Hayat's ambition to travel more, be more unconventional in her travel plans, and to embrace the unexpected. This is Mindboost Moments.
I get a lot of satisfaction when I help people understand the full value of vitamin supplements, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, do we really need them? Are they any good? Are they poisonous? Are they harming us? All that kind of stuff. And it's rewarding when you help people get that aha moment when they start to understand the benefits, how to use them, where they fit in someone's lifestyle, and also how they then talk about them and recommend them to their customers. And by doing that, by passing on that knowledge, you're helping people help other people, and thereby in the long run, hopefully, the ideal is that we start improving the nation's health. So that's really what I'm focusing on now, and helping to kind of spread the word, if you like, and also making sure people have the right information, factual information, cutting out all this misinformation that you see in the media, in social media. There's so much out there.
There is a lot.
It's just hard to to really know who and what to trust.
Yeah, I think there is. There's so much information that it becomes overwhelming, and then I think what you find is it then becomes a price challenge, because people go, I haven't got enough information, so therefore I think I need something, and and I'll go and get the cheapest product.
Yes.
But I think I've just picked up the language that you've said about natural health. So what? Just elaborate on that for me, so for the ignorant.
So it's doing as much as you possibly can with the resources that you have. So if we're looking at natural health, what is natural to us? So we're eating foods, we're moving, we're drinking water. So what are the aspects in your lifestyle that you can optimize and maximize before you then go looking for external solutions? So what can you do with your diet? What can you afford to do? What can you learn to do with your diet to maximize the quality and the nutrient intake that you're currently consuming? What other things can you do with your diet in terms of, the quality, the fluids that you consume? Then with your lifestyle, you're looking at stress management, sleep, movement. So if you optimize all those areas, you don't really need to look that much outside for any other intervention. So supplements, and the clue is in the name. This is, when people ask, well, do I really need them? I'm thinking, well, the clue is in the name. They're a supplement. They're not a replacement.
Not a replacement.
They add to what you're already getting. If you follow a specific diet, if you can't tolerate certain foods, if you have a preference for certain foods and you hate others, and you feel you may be missing out on specific nutrients, one example is fish oils. Not everybody likes fish. I personally absolutely hate fish of any kind. So I have to rely on either taking a supplement, a good quality supplement, and vegetarian sources like, flax oil, hemp oil, they're not the best, because the body still has to work hard to convert them into functional forms of omega-3, and that's not always the best or the most efficient way to get them. So I would have to take a fish oil supplement, and we don't make as much vitamin D in the Northern Hemisphere as we need, so perhaps a vitamin D supplement. So I would look at what I specifically need in accordance with my diet, and I will plug those gaps that I feel are missing. And that's really the trick. It's not about replacing anything or trying to get everything out of powders and tablets and capsules. It's looking at the potential gaps in your diet on a long-term basis and kind of plugging those gaps so you're not missing out on anything. And they really do make a difference to your everyday health and energy.
And I think what's obvious is that you've got a passion for that. You're interested in that, and so you understand what certain supplements do and how you can manage that in your body and your life. I guess, for lay people, there's got to be an interest in your health, because I always say, right, without your health and the longevity of health, you haven't got,
You really haven't.
you're limiting stuff anyway. So
Money
it's
can
super
only do so
important,
much.
right?
Yeah, money can
But
only do so much.
but how far away are we from making that super simple for people to go, like, if I've got an Apple Watch, like
Yeah.
the ideal for me is for Apple Watch not just to tell me how many steps and my, how much my blood's pumping. These are the deficient things that you've currently got in your body, and this is the stuff that we recommend you take today. And that's quite a dynamic thing that changes every day. So I go, all right, if I eat healthier, then I can see that in real time affecting stuff. I also know what supplements I should have. And then I suppose that'd be great if that was sort of a personalised supplement plan for that day. I mean, how far is that? Is that mad science, or how?
There's two sides to it. So yes, you can get to that level where you're literally monitoring everything, but we found that, if you think about habit tracking apps, or even just tracking your sleep on Apple Watch or on a Fitbit, so many people I've spoken to that have used that found they get a little bit obsessive. They're constantly watching how many hours they're sleeping, what type of sleep, and then, so you need to be careful with that. They're informative. They give you an idea of where you are and maybe areas that you need to adjust. And I think where we've externalized a lot of things, we've kind of numbed our sense of instinct, if you like, as to what's good for us and what we need.
Yeah.
And also, if you think about the healthy, balanced diet, we've really created a lot of misinformation around what constitutes a healthy, balanced diet. Anything that you grow, anything that is naturally produced in nature, foods that grow naturally, they all constitute part of a healthy, balanced diet. So, consuming enough plant food, consuming natural proteins, whether it's animal protein, whether it's plant protein, consuming healthy fats, not processed fats, vegetables, fruits to a certain extent. You don't need as much fruit, but fruits to a certain extent. If you just try and maximize the amount of real food in your diet, don't worry about the proportions or anything like that. Just try and start to move your diet to where the content of your diet is as much from natural food as possible.
Okay.
You'll start noticing a difference, because natural foods contain a wide variety of all different kinds of nutrients. But the reason why I advocate for supplements is because even if you do that, the way that food is grown, ripened, transported, the state of the soils now, they're actually, the quality, and by quality I mean nutrient content, they're not as nutrient dense as we would think. Okay. So you're not getting absolutely everything that you need. We know that our soils are deficient in minerals. Soil organisms are being killed off by the overuse of pesticides and so on. Foods are grown for yield, for quantity, not for quality. So you want to, and they're full of water. You get huge fruits and vegetables. They're ripened artificially. They're transported halfway across the world. So by the time you consume them, there's very little left in terms of nutrient content. And there have been studies done in terms of the content of, let's say, for example, certain minerals like calcium or magnesium. If we were testing vegetables such as broccoli or carrot now, and we measured them against the same vegetables from the 40s or 30s, well, you would need to consume 4 to 5 times the amount now to get the same level of nutrients you would have.
And most people are already going, oh, God, not the vegetables. There's so many ads in there on how to be better. God, if you said to a child, right, now we've got to quadruple those portions. No.
Exactly. So, you can eat the best quality that you can afford. Ideally, we all talk about locally grown, organic, but you need to know where your food is coming from start to finish, and try and afford as best quality as you can.
I didn't expect this podcast to go in this direction, but now you've got me thinking about, you sort of, unless someone says to you about stuff, you're just sort of oblivious to it. You just expect a carrot to be a carrot. But, there's a reason why people, enjoy growing their own and actually get more benefit out of that individually.
Exactly. And you notice the difference. You notice the difference when you start buying higher quality vegetables. And the good thing is you don't need to consume as much. The higher quality, you don't need to consume as much. And
Wow,
that's the
that's good for
safeguard.
kids then, isn't it? Because you say that rather than quadruple your portions, I can halve them because I grow them in the garden myself.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So it
I
makes
love
a
it.
big difference.
I mean, I'm actually really interested in that stuff, but and we could talk all day about that. There's a lot of stuff there that you've just sort of made me think, if we did this or we changed that. I suspect not everybody is in that place. And that's what I say. I can imagine in the future having some sort of just autonomous tracker going, right, if you were to eat this differently, I mean, you want your own, you know, assistant really, don't you, to go,
Yeah.
actually just exchange this for carrots or this
Yes.
fresh veg, and and if you've eaten as healthy as you possibly can given the supply chain,
Yeah.
then we'll produce a pill, a printed pill now that will top your system back up to where the optimum
Exactly.
levels. I mean, you see that in a lot of science fiction films, right? And I'm sure it's not a million miles away that somebody
We're
being
hitting
able
it.
to do that already.
We're seeing that, with a lot of personalized brands that are coming up with personalized products. I mean, you need to be committed. It's not for everyone, so it's not for the
Yeah,
general public. You need to be committed, and you can imagine that the cost is going to be much higher for that.
yeah,
It involves analysis, it involves testing to see exactly where you are, what your specific biochemistry is lacking, and what it
yeah,
needs according to your lifestyle and your goals. So not just where you are, but where do you want to get to? And then you would have a personalized program.
yeah.
But it's not just personalized and that's it, off you go. It's personalized and then it will be measured and altered as you progress. So it is heading that way, but that's not for mass. That's for probably a select few who are
Yeah.
that invested in their.
I think you've just hit the nail on the head with the word there. Is you've got to be committed to it because,
Yeah,
again, if you're really interested in longevity of health, you
yeah,
will be committed to that. If you see the benefits of longevity, I
of
mean,
course.
I keep saying to people around me, the thought of like going at an expected,
Yeah,
you know, time,
yeah,
80s, whatever, just freaks
yeah,
me out because there's so much going on in the world that I don't want to miss out on. So it's like,
exactly.
you know, how can I make that lifespan longer so I
Yeah,
can see all the amazing stuff that's going on in the world?
exactly. Exactly. So, it's just evaluating how you live your life now and all aspects. I mean, even the non-nutrition side of it, the sleep, the stress management, the
Yeah,
movement, all of that impacts your state of health and how your body responds and how you build your resilience. So you evaluate that and how you can best optimize how you live your life now. And it doesn't have to be major changes. I think if we take into the fact that people really don't like change, it's changing the psychological approach. So it's about adding to and making better rather than changing or taking away. And I try and apply that a lot to the diet. When people think about changing a diet, immediately they get their backs up like, oh, I'm not going to get to eat my favorite foods or have to start, eating this or changing that. I'm thinking, well, no, just start by adding.
everything in
Don't change anything.
moderation.
Don't take anything away. Just
Yeah,
add.
yeah,
And it's like a principle of crowding out. As you add, you gradually crowd out the bad stuff, but
yeah,
you do it so that you don't kind of trigger your response. And that's the best
yeah,
way to do it, so that it's psychologically pleasant as opposed to, triggering
yeah,
you every time.
yeah. And then just before I switch this, you've just reminded me as well about sleep and the importance of that. I have this week invested in a Manta sleep mask, right?
Oh yes,
And like, if people listening and they don't know what that is, like, I look like a weirdo when I sleep, but honestly, the depth of my sleep, I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm cold out. It just blacks everything out.
It
My
makes it.
wife says you look like a weirdo, but I said I don't care because my quality of sleep has so improved now. It just blacks everything out and I'm gone.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I can't sleep in a room that's full of light. I have to have complete darkness if
Yeah,
I'm in asleep, and that's why sometimes when I'm away and I'm in hotels,
yeah.
the blackout curtains and the blackout blinds just knocks me out. So yeah,
Well, I
it
reckon
makes a difference.
the Manta sleep mask is amazing. They do all
I'll have to
sorts
look
as
it up.
well. So
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, right.
I asked you a couple of questions then before we caught up. The first one I wanted to know was what excites you and makes you fizz with energy.
Well, I had to think about that one because I thought, well, I haven't really been fizzing all that excited for a while now. So what really does it for me now? And I've always been, things have changed as I've got older, but the one thing that I always get excited about is travel. But travel for me has changed lately. I've really started going down this rabbit hole of watching videos of people who travel unconventionally. So it's not your standard, holiday, 2 weeks here on the beach, do the usual touristy things. It's people that kind of plan travel in an unconventional way. And it kind of started with, what was it? What was the name of it? Race Around the World.
Oh,
I
yes.
absolutely loved that program. And I thought I would love to do something like that where, I'm not going to race anywhere, but you challenge yourself to kind of travel to parts you never would have thought of, using means you wouldn't normally think of, to really get that experience. And I'm trying to start, planning a couple of trips around that, trips by train, or instead of flying somewhere, do a ferry and a train and a bus. And I think the experience of that is probably what really excites me, as opposed to just flying somewhere, landing there, staying in one spot, doing the usual things and then coming back. So unconventional travel's really got me going.
Well, so last week I spoke to Paul Carmichael at DS Smith, and he's what made him fierce was doing new things constantly. And then when I asked him what was the last new thing that he did, he was talking to me about a trip to Sweden that his kids had, and it was and we sort of got on a similar topic actually, was that just try what you haven't done before. And I sort of tried to ask him as well about, well, how do you instill that curiosity and that, like, the reluctance of getting things wrong in young minds as well, and going, oh no, we've caught the wrong train, or we've gone the wrong direction. And I really asked him about that, and because I'm with you, I like the idea of an unconventional travel. My suggestion was almost start off really small. So even if you go to a place that is not that unconventional, but challenge yourself to get to your final destination by a different route. So I know that what we do now is we'll never get a transfer to anywhere or a taxi. We'll land at an airport and go, right, we've just got to get ourselves to that hotel. And that's just the start of it, right? To go, okay, this might feel really uncomfortable. We might get it wrong, but it's not a biggie really, because you know that you've got Google Maps. You know that you could call an Uber if you needed to.
That's it. You've always got a fallback. And it's part of the challenge, it's part of the excitement. And it makes you travel light, I'll tell you that. You don't want to be lugging bags and God knows what around. You just want to go as light as possible. But that's the whole challenge. I mean, even just around the UK, going to places you wouldn't expect, traveling somewhere, turning up somewhere, and just getting to know the landscape, getting to know where you are, and seeing the world really as it is, as opposed to the kind of the glossy tourist traps that we get caught in. So that's really what's getting me excited.
Because, we have probably just freaked a whole load of people out by going, don't plan stuff and try and get there by an unconventional method. And most people go, oh my God, that would freak the hell out of me. I can't travel in light. I can't pack light. I can't do this. I can't do that. What, how would you give some advice to go, let go?
If you're really, it depends on how willing you are to take a risk or to just go with the flow. So one suggestion would be to start with an area that you want to go to, but don't have any particular destination in mind. Just, if you want to go to a specific city or a country, just turn up anywhere, but just make sure you've got access to transport information, because that I think is what gets people worried, is, feeling like you can't get somewhere, or that you're trapped, or you can't get from A to B or so on. So just make sure you have access to as much transport information about the area that you're going to. But also start small. If you find it a bit much and you go, oh no, I don't think I can go abroad and just turn up somewhere.
Just freestyle.
Start locally. If you're in the UK, start in the UK. Just start practicing being with your travel. Again, my idea is, rather than having a specific destination, I could say, well, I'm just going to go to the Netherlands, and where I end up is where I end up, and then I'll make it back. So rather than saying I'm going to go specifically to Amsterdam for 2 days and walk around, the beaten path and then come back, give myself, a bit of freedom and just go with the flow, get on a train and go somewhere and not worry about where it is.
I suppose there's a balance between, and that's why it's good to almost plan your unplanned holiday,
Yeah.
to some degree, because like it's probably not right for a first attempt if you've got two little kids with you,
Oh, I've
or
done
if
it with
it's
children.
yeah,
I think this is even
or
travel.
if it's the only holiday, or if it's
Yeah.
going to cost you a fortune, like start small. So
Yeah.
take the opportunity to, pack the kids off to the grandparents for a weekend, and then go
Yeah.
right. Because do you know what we've done in the past? Right, we've turned up at an airport and gone, what's the cheapest flight? We've got a bag for the weekend. We've no
Yeah.
idea where we're going. Let's just turn up to Leeds, Bradford, or wherever it is, and go, what's the cheapest flight? Can we get there?
Yeah, that's
And
it.
like that was so exciting. It was quite nerve-wracking, right? But it was
Exactly.
exciting.
Yeah. And that's the thing, we've got access to everything now. If you did that and they gave you a flight to a European city, you could quickly look for accommodation. You could quickly look up their train timetables
Yeah,
or bus information. So you could have an idea of how to maneuver and still make it exciting. So it's a
yeah,
bit of the known and a bit of the unknown. But
yeah,
yeah, I just love doing, I want to start, traveling more that way and, just going to places, unconventional places, going
yeah.
to different countries, different cities, and kind of finding my own way around. I think that's way more exciting.
So what are you thinking then? What's
Well,
the first
well,
step?
my first step is I've been watching a lot about train travel around Europe, and I would love to do just like a kind of a train journey from one end of Europe to the other. And that will take some time. But
Yeah.
there's I remember seeing it years ago, and I think he's still updating it. There's a website, and it's the guy started a blog called The Man in Seat 61. So he's a bit of a train connoisseur, and every time he'd book a seat, he'd nearly always book seat number 61. So
Wow.
his website is called seat61.com,
Okay.
and he's basically it detailed all the different train operators, train maps, timetables around Europe and quite a few other countries around the world. So you could go on there and just get an idea and plan your routes through Europe. So at least you know where to go, the different
Yeah,
cities
yeah,
to go
yeah.
through. So I want to do something like that where I just kind of map
Mm.
out the trains and do a mini race around Europe, if you like.
Yeah,
Challenge myself to make it across a specific time, but within a bit of time to actually enjoy where I am. So
yeah.
that's one thing I want to do. And I want to do a sleeper train. I think that's the next big thing. I want to
Well,
travel.
you can go to Scotland and do that. You haven't got to go around.
I know. I haven't heard great things about the Caledonian Sea, so I'll leave that for another time.
Yeah, yeah, that's somewhere on my list.
Lovely. But
I,
yeah,
well, the man in C61.com doesn't strike me as a man that likes change then, right?
no,
but at least he's mapped out some of the journeys. What,
exactly.
so what do you get out of that then? Because again, some people will be going, I just want the same holiday because I know, I don't know, the waitress or the
Yeah.
waiter who helps me with my food. I love the same food and I love the same sunbed. So what do you get out of that?
I think it's just it appeals to my sense of wonder. We always want to try something new or see something new. We're stuck
Yeah,
in routines, and more so now where we're all working from home. You just see the same micro
yeah,
universe,
yeah,
if you like. You're stuck in your routines. You're seeing the same things day in day out, doing the same things. So it's that broadening my horizons. It's that it fulfills my sense of wonder. I want to see different things. I want to experience
yeah,
different things and do different things. And you kind of, when you get that itch that you want to do something different, but you just don't know what, I think travel really kind of scratches that well, especially for me anyway. So that's what it is. I have no particular expectation. It's just my sense
yeah,
of wonder and getting out there. And I
yeah,
think that's the main thing. I don't want expectations on it. It's just let me see what I can experience.
yeah.
And
I
that is,
I always find in those situations as well, you always come across something, someone,
yeah,
and it's like, I don't want to say the old cliche of different cultures and stuff, but there's always, if you travel, there's the unexpected conversations that you have,
yeah,
the people that you bump into.
Exactly.
and the stories. I like it for making memories and the
Absolutely.
stories that you have as well. And I was only saying to Paul last week as well. I think we went to Frankfurt actually, and we were trying to get to Bacharach in the Rhine Valley, and like we didn't have anything planned, and we just jumped on a train in Frankfurt. And it was just leaving the station. I said, "Come on, let's get on this one quick." Amanda said, "How do we know it's the right one?" So I have no idea.
No, where it
And
goes, where it
and we
goes.
both exactly. We both went, well, if it's going the wrong way, then we'll see that on Google Maps in a minute, and then we'll
Yeah.
just jump off and catch the next one in the right direction. It's like,
Yes.
well, what's the worst that can happen? Because, and that's what I say, we didn't have, our kids with us, and we just had backpacks.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did go in the right direction, but it wouldn't have been a problem if we'd have gone, shit, we'll just jump off and get the next one in
Exactly.
the opposite
Exactly.
direction, and we'll get there in the end.
Yeah. And this is it. It's like, getting over that need to control and always,
Yeah,
be in control and got to do this and got to do that. You want to lose that. You just want to be in the moment, be free, and just enjoy. Just, keep
yeah,
going, enjoy, see new things, see new people, try new things. And yes, you want a bit of a plan, a bit of a map, but keep it flexible, keep it open,
yeah,
and go with the flow.
yeah.
So that's
And
how I'm planning it
and
out.
it does, and that'll work for some people that don't, that like taking risks or don't mind, the plans changing. Because I reflect on Amanda's dad as well. So even if we're driving him somewhere and we take a different route to what he's expecting, it's like, "Oh no, you're going the wrong way." It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, I don't think we are, but even if we are, we could just turn around and go the right way. It's, well, why didn't you just go down there? And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
he overthinks all the stuff, and he's not the only one, right? He overthinks. He wants to do the same thing that is always done, and so for him that probably won't work because he gets comfort in going, right, I know I'm going to get picked up at this time. I know we're going to get to the destination that time. I know where my bags go. I know, John who checks me in, all of that stuff. It's planned down to the micro degree,
Exactly.
so it's probably not for him. But
Probably not.
for those,
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are they like to know how everything runs and they're very risk averse. And I think in your
yeah,
everyday life with your, maybe with your job, with your home, things like that, you don't want to take risks. But I think with holidays, that's a great way to stretch it without losing
yeah,
anything.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can be a
yeah, I
bit more
like it.
risky. It's a great time to kind of explore a riskier side, if you like, without really putting anything at risk. All you're doing is putting your time and potentially better money, for travel. But it's a great way to stretch that muscle.
So why don't you do that and then apply for Race Against the World,
Well, I'm
across the
just
world?
you never know. You might see
Yeah. Someone's going to nominate you.
#1 spot.
I think the only downside to that is they don't have enough time
No,
to
exactly.
absorb everything.
Yeah, you don't see anything. You're just running from one point to the next.
No,
So,
but I am loving the current series with the celebrities.
oh yeah, I saw that one. I was like, it was so fun. It was really nice to see that side of them with their families as
Yeah,
well. So yeah, it just got the bug. I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind
yeah,
doing something similar, but not racing, just actually traveling.
yeah. The experience, but a little bit more chilled.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the other thing I asked you was, what did you think your superpower was, or what do you think the people around you think your superpower is?
So with my friends, because I've been observing this a lot with my friends, so I have a particular knack for being able to find things. I'm a bit of a finder, or I'll find something out, or I'll find a solution, or I'll work something out. If I have a question, I'm
It's
very
like Magnum
curious.
PI.
Well, not quite. I wouldn't quite put it that way. I'm not crime busting out there. Like if I have a question or something, because I'm very observant, I'll just, I'll see something and I'm like, oh, what does that mean? What is that? Where's that from? And I want to know. Just my curiosity makes me want to know. So I'll go and find out. So I tend to kind of accumulate information and I'll find things out. So amongst my friends, I
So they go,
nickname.
we don't know, but I know who has the answer.
Exactly. They'll ask, want to get the most ridiculous questions. I remember one time my sister rang me up, random call, and her son had an appointment at a London hospital. And she just rang me up and she said, Dean had this appointment at such and such hospital, but we got a letter saying that they had to postpone it or move it to another hospital. because they've closed. I'm like, okay. She goes, why have they closed? I'm like, I don't know.
I thought you would know.
But that's what I get questions. Just any old stuff.
Why don't you know?
Exactly. Why don't you know? I thought you'd know. And I'm thinking, you're interested in health. I thought you know. I'm like, okay, hang on a minute. You're taking it a bit too far now.
Well,
I get random questions from people. And I know the answer most times, but not one.
I've got an app that might help you as well with that. So rather than Google, which is almost like a search engine and question engine, I used an app called Perplexity. Which is an answer engine. So it sort of works a bit like Google, but you type some in, it gives you loads of information and answers. I suppose it's a sort of a hybrid between, Google and Wikipedia all wrapped in together with lots of AI. But yeah, it's really helpful.
Oh, I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Instead of, what annoys me is they don't make the effort to figure things out themselves. They'll just come to me and want me to know the answer or know where to find the answer. And that's the big thing, I think, is know where to find the information.
So do you end up getting loads of extra jobs then as a result of that?
I do. And literally weekends, half the time, is doing stuff for other people, answering questions for other people.
Oh, so, I'm going to add that to my list now then. If I don't know an answer, I'll stop using Google and I'll just come to Hayat.
Actually. But yes, I did have a superpower. It's probably
I like
wonderful information as I go along. And just kind of being curious to really find things out. And I do tend to find things. I remember when I say I'm a finder, years and years ago, there was a Bounty ad for Bounty chocolate, and there was a song on the Bounty ad. It was like a tropical scene, and the song, absolutely loved the song. And I'm thinking, and there was no Shazam, there was no those days. And I was like, I need to find this song. So I called, I don't know, was it Mars UK? I called them.
No way.
Marketing. They said to me, we don't know. They put me through. They gave me a number for the marketing department in Paris. Spoke to her. She told me the name of the artist.
We got some crazy woman on the phone at this.
I went down with it. I spoke to the actual artist who produced the song, but he said, I can't send it to you because it's copyrighted to Mars UK or Mars or whoever produces Bounty.
Yeah.
So he told me what it was, but he said, I can't send it to you. So I actually went as far as finding out and speaking to the artist that produced it.
Oh my God, that's tenacity as well.
When I say I find things, if I want to find something,
I go hunting.
There you go. I go hunting until I find it.
I'm just imagining your T-shirt with information woman on it.
I should do with a mobile.
That's amazing. What an amazing story as well. I was going to say most people go, just Shazam it, we didn't have it then.
Before Shazam. This was like early 2000s, well before.
Well before Shazam, we had Hayat.
Literally.
There's
Yes, that's it. I'm going to put that on LinkedIn.
Yeah, on your email footer. I am a human Shazam. Yeah. Although I think there's a superhero already called Shazam in there. I think they pinched that. Yeah. Well, what a fabulous note to finish a podcast on. I've absolutely loved this.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
If people want to catch up or find out more about what you're doing, what's the best way to do that?
I'm on LinkedIn. Just look up my name on LinkedIn. Pop me a message or connect on LinkedIn. I don't think we have profiles yet set up on the Nestle website. So the easiest, quickest way is just look for me on LinkedIn. You'll find me and you can connect with me there.
And should we just do a short disclaimer that you are not actually the human Shazam, so please don't bombard you.
Yeah, I haven't been certified as the human Shazam. So that's just what my friends call me.
Call me that now.
So please,
amazing.
No requests.
Oh dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caleb. It's been a pleasure.
This has been Mindboost Moments. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to hear more, subscribe wherever you get your podcast from. And if you want to learn how Mindboost can really add feeling and emotion to learning experiences within your business, check out our website at mindboostlearning.com.